we need to talk about Mick Schumacher. To be honest, I'm surprised I haven't seen anyone else making a video on him yet. As the son of a 7-time world champion, living up to that legacy is always going to be a challenge, but if I'm being completely honest, I think the fact he has that surname has cut him a lot of slack in the 2 seasons he's had in Formula 1. In 2021, all the attention was put on Mazepin and his struggles, and because of that I think we overlooked how much Mick has struggled in Formula 1. Pace-wise, he hasn't exactly been bad, and he was never out-qualified by Mazepin, but the issue is the fact that he keeps destroying cars and making mistakes when it matters. While Haas were nowhere last year, and therefore we can't have expected much of either of its drivers, they appear to have a strong top 6 car this year, and so both drivers should be expected to challenge for the points. And it's true, the team has scored 15 points in 7 races, but of those 15 points, Mick hasn't scored a single one. There's no doubt that Magnussen is the better of the 2 Haas drivers, and I think we knew that before the start of the season. But for Mick to be beaten so thoroughly by him is a genuine cause for concern. Couple that with the fact he's already caused well over $2 million worth of damage to his car, and Haas don't exactly have much reason to keep him, do they? So, what does the future hold for Mick Schumacher? Let's waffle, shall we? But first, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Now, as someone who usually plays racing games and the occasional ironic game of Fortnite, I didn't really expect to enjoy Raid, and I definitely didn't expect myself to be good at it. And now, while I still may not be very good at the game, I do very much enjoy it. That said, no good game should be easy, and Raid definitely has some serious challenges at the end of it. When you reach level 40, you unlock this thing called the Doom Tower, which, put simply, is a huge prison. It's full of all the enemies that the Arbiter fought off ages ago, but now the evil Siroth is back, it's failing, and so it's our job to go and defeat the enemies. Each floor of the tower has 3 waves of enemy champions, and I don't mean Max Verstappen, and every 10 floors there's a boss to defeat. To climb to the top of the Doom Tower, you're gonna need a strong army of champions, because trust me, these bosses are tough. Some, like the Scarab King, are really particular and require specific mechanics to beat. Anyway, there's a ton of stuff going on in Raid this month, like the Path of Light event, where you can explore 3 different branching paths so you can chase the rewards you want the most. As well as this, there's an amazing set of skins for Tron the Guilt Mallet, another one of Raid's awesome champions, coming out. And I haven't even told you about the Deliana Chase event yet. To get your hands on Deliana, a legendary champion, you just need to log into the game for 7 days between now and the 20th of July. Now is very much the best time to pick up Raid Shadow Legends, and if you use my link in the description or scan the QR code, you'll get a bunch of bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion, 200,000 silver, an ancient shard and more, which you can use to summon new champions as soon as you get into the game. All those rewards will be waiting for you just here. And the gifts keep coming. If you're a new player, just enter the code MyDeliana and you'll get 50 XP brews, which will help you instantly get Deliana to max level, and you'll get another load of silver. So for all this good stuff, for absolutely free, just head to the link in the description or use the QR code on screen. Thanks to Raid for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it. I think the best place to start in a video discussing Mick's future is by looking at his results so far. I won't bore you with every single result, although it won't exactly take long, so let's just look at the important moments. In the first race of the 2021 season, both Schumacher and Mazepin spun on the first lap of the race, but Mazepin obviously came off worse. I'd argue that a lot of this is to do with luck, as Mazepin's spin came near a gravel trap and a wall, while Mick's was in an area with a lot of runoff. That said, Mick was the only Haas driver to keep the car in one piece, and therefore has to take the credit, especially in something that was obviously difficult to drive that day. In Imola, Schumacher managed to crash into the pit lane while behind safety car, destroying a front wing and any hopes of a good result. In FP3 of the Monaco Grand Prix, Schumacher had his first of many big crashes, which meant his car wouldn't be ready for qualifying, and so he'd be starting last. To me, and a lot of other people, this crash seemed really unnecessary, because this was a practice session and he really didn't need to be pushing that hard. Halfway through the season, Gunther Steiner came out and said that Mick's crashes were too frequent and too heavy, and that Haas wouldn't be able to cope with the financial strain for much longer. Again, we have to cut him a bit of slack because he was driving the worst car on the grid, but still, if it was Mazepin who crashed under safety car and ripped his car in half in a practice session, I don't think anyone would have that much patience. Fast forward a few races and Mick made it through to Q2 for the first time in his career, by crashing. As a result, he didn't get a chance to compete in the second part of qualifying, and so he started 15th, only beating his teammate. Mick again crashed in FP3 for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and again he put so much damage on the car that he couldn't compete in qualifying. After the carnage on the first lap of the race, Mick found himself running in the points for the first time in the season, but after a hard-fought battle with Max Verstappen and half an RB16B, he lost out and eventually came home 13th, which became 12th when Vettel was disqualified. In Turkey, Mick made it through to Q2 in another rain-soaked qualifying, but tangled with Alonso on the first lap, meaning he finished 19th, as per. It should of course be mentioned that Alonso took full blame for this incident, so let's not criticize Mick for this one. He crashed into Esteban Ocon on lap 1 of the Mexican Grand Prix, leading to yet another retirement. In Saudi Arabia, he brought out the red flag by using a barrier as a brake, and this brought an end to a terrible first season. He was just lucky that Nikita's season was terribler. In 2022, Kevin Magnussen was brought in to replace the PR nightmare in Mazepin, and almost instantly he made the team his own. As much as I want him to do well, Mick has been well off the mark. He finished a career best 11th in the Bahrain Grand Prix, which was a good start. At least, it would have been if Magnussen didn't finish 5th. In Imola, he spun twice in the race, which ruined any chance he'd have of scoring points. In Saudi Arabia, Mick snapped his car in half for the first time this season, costing the team about $1 million and meaning he'd missed the race the following day. In Miami, Mick was on track to score points before he made a stupid move on Sebastian Vettel near the end of the race, taking both drivers out. In Spain, he qualified in 10th and finished 14th. And finally, in Monaco, he snapped his car in half in the race yet again, bringing out the red flag yet again and causing another huge damage bill. Günther Steiner has not been quiet about his lack of patience with Schumacher. He's openly said there's a queue of drivers wanting Mick's seat and that he doesn't have much patience for him unless he can up his game. The fact is that Mick has caused the team millions and millions of dollars in damage costs and hadn't made it worthwhile by bringing home any results. For a team with a budget as small as Haas, Mick simply can't keep making these mistakes. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we wouldn't be cutting Nikita Mazepin this much slack if he were making as many mistakes as Mick. I'm sorry, but we can't keep allowing him to get away with things just because of his surname. Now, the midfield is very tight this year, and therefore if you're anything less than perfect every race, then scoring points is going to be a challenge. So for a driver with no experience of anything except the back of the grid, it's always going to be hard to suddenly be racing with everyone around you, instead of letting them through. It's only been 7 races this season, and Mick hasn't been miles away from the points in terms of pace. Racing with other people isn't something you can learn overnight, and I'd be surprised if Mick hasn't scored a point by the end of the season. Günther Steiner has also said he believes Mick's performances once he scores a point will improve, as there will be a mental barrier removed. If that's the case, then we might see Mick being able to challenge Magnussen by the end of the season. At the moment, maybe he's pushing just a bit too hard and so mistakes like the ones he's made are inevitable, but there should come a time where he doesn't need to prove himself and things just come naturally. In Australia this year, Mick had the pace advantage over Magnussen, and the same in the Imola sprint. He clearly has the pace, but he just lacks the consistency. It's weird, because in F2 in 2020, it was his consistency that won the championship, not the raw pace. As I say, I think everything will fall into place at some point soon, and while he's not going to be a Ferrari driver in 2023 like Matteo Binotto said he could be, there's still a chance he'll get there eventually. If he does reach Ferrari, then will he win a championship? I don't think so, but I do expect him to win a couple of races. But right now, the issue for Schumacher isn't where he'll be in the future, it's about proving what he can do right now and getting rid of those mistakes. If he can do that, then I'm sure there's a future for him in the sport, but if he keeps going as he is, I'm worried. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you agree or disagree with me, then let me know in the comments and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks to Raid for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you for supporting those who support me. Bye.